Hey, Thrive and Shine. Hope you're having a wonderful start to the day. I have with me Luke Bunnell, who is a amazing, he's the founder of Story League, and he's here to share with us something that I reckon you guys are going to absolutely love and get so much value
Let's
out
hope so.
Well, I'm sure they will, because this is really exciting because Luke Bunnell is a former journalist, and at Story League, what they do is they help entrepreneurs like yourselves to get your story and your brand and position yourself in the forefront of the media, through through
There's a lot of
podcasts.
content. Yeah, it's a lot of content creation. So it's a lot of videos, podcasts, articles. I'm a media person. I know how to do this. So it's really about our approach is we don't necessarily think you haven't got anything to say, but you're probably not in the best place to be able to focus on it to really cut through to your target market. Because we know today's modern setting that if you don't appeal to them within a few seconds, they will disappear very quickly. So our approach is journalists have a professional body of work and experience in those worlds, and they know how to craft content that really makes you sing. So that's what we love doing for our clients.
That's awesome. So on behalf of the people that are in Thrive and Shine coaching, I guess the big question that people might have for you would be, is it necessary to have a journalist in order to position the brand, in order to, obviously stand out from the crowd, and rather than say extensive money that's spent on having someone who is going to do like PR, etc. What do you think is the big
there's
difference?
a few different thoughts in that. So one of the reasons I started the business is because I used to work in media roles as well once I moved away from the natural progression of a journalist, because the jobs aren't there anymore, into the more sort of corporate type media and marketing roles. In the jobs that I had there, we worked with advertising and PR agencies, and what I saw quite clearly was the fact that as a business, you would spend lots and lots of money with a PR marketing company, and what you'd get in return is very little. So they would charge you maybe at a base rate in the very early stages of it, maybe $60,000 per year, and write a few media releases and call a few journalists for you. Now, I can tell you, working as a journalist, you would get 80 of those phone calls a day, so you have to be incredibly good to actually cut through in order to get your story represented.
So important.
It is. And
so important.
But now, what technology, digital technology, has given us is the ability to be able to do our own thing, craft our own content, and it means that the media as we know it, traditional forms, TV, radio, print, are disappearing. And I know because I deal with a lot of journalists who are coming to me saying, can I do content for you? And I'm like, just relax a little bit, we'll see. But so what it has done is it's opened up the parameters for you as an entrepreneur or as a business owner to really start getting your message out straight away. But the problem in that is that you don't necessarily know what you're doing. If I said something like, for an article, the inverted pyramid structure, you would probably have no idea what I'm talking about. Yet that's been proven as a writing style to cut through in order for people to read it, to understand you and what you're about and your story. So, what we really bring on board is moving away from that generic approach, which is your top 7 tips for business success type of blogs, which they get read, there's no doubt about that, but no one remembers them.
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere. Everyone can do them. They're cheap, they're nasty.
Yeah, there's books and stuff around
There is. We read them, we move on very quickly. So our approach has been to come along and actually work with you as a journalist would, to work out what your story is, to work out what you really need to be saying to cut through. And the best way, the best example of that is one of our major approaches is we don't necessarily talk to Phoebe, the business owner, or you as the business owner. We talk to people that you're working with, and we craft the story around them, because we find that the chest-beating approach of look at us and look how amazing we are doesn't really work anymore. Yet if we go to someone else and they speak highly of you and they're very positive about what you're doing, doing. It's a glowing reference point for you and what you're trying to achieve, and it cuts through, and it's much more interesting for your audience to read something that is not egotistical. It's not driven by self-interest. So that's one of the skill sets that a journalist brings: the ability to be able to really work with people who use your products or services, but knowing that the safeguard is in place because they are journalists and they know how to craft a story, that business owner is not going to be misrepresented by using one of their customers.
Yeah, cool. Hello, Chris. Hello, Shannon. Thank you so much for joining us live.
Hello, Chris. Hello, Shannon. Thank you for joining us too.
If you guys have any questions at all, feel free to leave us a comment. Tell us if you want us to cover anything. Hello, Matthew. Good to see you on here live. So what we're talking about right now is, positioning ourselves in the forefront, and through not just through, obviously marketing and traditional types of marketing, but, having someone like Story League, put our story out there, because, there's this saying that, facts tell, but story sells.
You're very true. And again, it's one thing that I don't truly understand is if we go back before the internet was created, the way we used to communicate information was via stories. The reason we know about the litany of world wars that we've had, or the wars that we've had, and various other circumstances throughout history is because someone's come back and they've told us the story, right? So then the internet comes through, and then we've decided to stop telling stories and start doing that generic content just to get people to look at it. So I sort of looked at that and thought, that's not right. If storytelling has served a purpose throughout our entire history, and we still reference things that happened years ago through storytelling, centuries ago really, that has been lost somehow. So I'm trying to bring that back, because I think it's highly important for people to be able to do that. And you're very correct what you say. If you tell a good, impactful, meaningful story, people will remember it. They don't do that with a cheap, nasty blog.
Absolutely, guys. And especially, for those of you that are starting out, or if you're finding that you have a business where it's a highly competitive market, or there's a lot of people that do something really similar, your story will actually help you to stand out from the crowd, because people aren't buying your business these days just for the product, because there's so much out there and so much competition out there, but people are buying your business for the story. They're buying it for the brand. They're buying it for that connection and that feeling of, contributing to your story and to your journey as well. So story is really important. And if you want to think about what your story is, or if you want to, get your story out there, we have someone that is going to be really, really helpful in helping you get the word out there for your brand, that will work really well hand in hand with your marketing. Would you say that this is something that is quite complementary to Facebook or traditional marketing?
Absolutely it is. So what we do is videos, podcasts and articles, and all of them can be on Facebook, they can be on Twitter, LinkedIn, your website, wherever you want to put them. So, and the approach we take is that once we do the content and it's approved by the business owner or the entrepreneur, then it is completely theirs. So we don't retain any of the rights of it, so they can push it as far and as wide as they want. And one thing we've noticed too in the case of articles, because they're written by journalists, we've had clients approach industry-specific magazines, and the article has just been taken straight away and put right in that magazine. So
awesome! That is so cool.
Yeah, and the reason why is because it's written by a journalist who understands how to actually write correctly. So, and that's maybe something you find as well. It doesn't necessarily mean that publication wants the story, but it certainly won't fall down because the grammar is bad, the spelling's not there.
Yeah, you guys have that all covered.
Yeah, well, obviously we have editors and proofreaders as well. So, and we do all of our podcasts in our professional studio that we've got, and we have 3 camera crews, and our radio journalists are at various radio stations, and our our camera crews work for TV networks here as well.
How awesome is that, guys? How awesome is that? So, guys, if you want to grow your following, if you want to scale your business, if you are just relying currently on referrals, which and I always talk about how referrals are great, but at the end of the day, you can't sell a business that's just based on referrals. You need to have strong and effective marketing and branding, because if you rely on just referrals, not only do you not have the control over that or the predictability, but you know, even something, a business like Apple spends, gosh,
probably billions
on
marketing, advertising, and
yeah. So marketing is crucial, and if you're wanting to grow your Facebook page, your Facebook following, hit me up. But most importantly, if you're wanting to you know, position your brand in a way that is going to get yourself out there through podcasts, through you know, more than just the traditional blogs, and obviously saving yourself that expense of having PR, then hit up Luke Bunt.
Well done.
God.
You were going so well.
I'm close. I'm close.
It's Bunel. It's a
Bunel.
See,
it's
French a long way down the line, but I've got no idea.
I had it right. I had it before. I shouldn't, and I speak a bit of French as well. I shouldn't have looked.
This is what happens on Facebook Live, isn't it?
It is. Hit up Luke.
just say Luke.
Just hit up Luke. Luke is the man to go to, and ignore my inability to pronounce his name. Thank you so much, Luke, for just jumping on this Facebook Live. We're so pleased to have you on here.
Absolute pleasure.
And I'm really excited, guys, for you all who are, you know, growing your brand and growing your business, and can't wait to, you know, see the fruits, and speak to you guys soon.
See you later.
See you guys.